to support the Ukrainians and to support the army.
The Ukrainian government on Monday denied any links to this American accused of trying to assassinate former U.S. President Donald Trump. Kyiv's comments came after it emerged that the reported suspect, Ryan Ruth, had traveled to the country in hopes of volunteering to help Ukraine fight back against Russia's invasion.
To me, a lot of the other conflicts are gray, but this conflict is definitely black and white. This is about good versus evil.
In this 2022 interview, Ruth told Newsweek Romania he'd initially hoped to fight, but was rejected from combat because of his age and his lack of military experience.
My initial goal was to come and fight.
And he said he shifted his goals and was instead recruiting others to take up arms.
If you want to fight, come here and see me, and I'll put you in a unit so you can go fight.
The U.S. Secret Service on Sunday said it had foiled what the FBI called the second apparent assassination attempt on the Republican candidate for president in 2 months. The Secret Service said its agents were accompanying Trump on the golf course on Sunday when one spotted a gun barrel in some bushes near the property line. Agents engaged the gunman and fired at him. The gunman dropped his rifle and fled in a black car. Sheriff's deputies in neighboring Martin County stopped the suspect and took him into custody.
So you are working with the International Legion?
Yes.
And you are trying to convince people to help, to donate, and to join?
Yeah.
Hundreds of non-Ukrainians have been fighting against Russian forces, but the International Legion, where many of these fighters serve, said it had no links with Ruth. A Legion official told CNN that Ruth had sent emails offering to recruit foreign volunteers, but Ukraine's military thought he was, quote, delusional, and did not take the offers seriously. Ukrainian officials said they had nothing to do with him. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said he was glad to hear Trump was safe and that there was no place for violence in politics anywhere.
Cell phone data shows Ryan Wesley Routh stalked Donald Trump's golf course in Florida for 12 hours before he was spotted by Secret Service. America's top security agency has defended its handling of the former president's security after yesterday's attempted assassination. The 58-year-old has been revealed as a fanatical supporter of Ukraine. He was first on the FBI's radar in 2019. Our Sky News Washington correspondent Annalise Nielsen joins us live once again. Annalise, have officials been able to interview the would-be assassin yet?
Look, what they've said is once he was taken into custody, he requested a lawyer and invoked his right to silence. And so they're piecing much of this together before he'll agree to a formal interview, if he will. Now, he's been given 2 charges. One is having the weapon caliber that he had as a felon, and the other is having a gun like that with the serial number scratched out is illegal as well. You can bet there'll be more charges coming, but one of the big developments today was the release of this body camera footage, which we can show you now. This is the moment that a nearby county's sheriff took him into custody after a tip-off from the public. What we've learned today is that he was on that golf course for 12 hours by the cell phone records, as you mentioned before, without being spotted. And it was only that moment when the rifle was put through the fence that the Secret Service agent who was going ahead at the golf course spotted him. So you can see here the FBI footage of the investigation that's happening today into how this possibly could have happened. The Secret Service answered questions earlier today around whether there was enough security, whether there should have been more to secure the perimeter to stop what happened yesterday occurring.
It was an off-the-record movement, meaning it was not on the former president's official schedule. And what I go back to is the layered approach. The elements and the methodologies of the Secret Service. There was a front element. It did its job in sweeping ahead of the president. That's what identified this individual who was in that wood line. And the swift action of that agent doing his job, pushing out ahead, sweeping while the president was behind him several hundred yards and several holes away.
Laura, we learned more about the official record of Ryan Routh. He has been a noted figure for his lengthy criminal history, including a shootout in North Carolina before he moved to Hawaii, but it's been his recent advocacy around Ukraine that's been quite controversial. He was there trying to recruit Afghan nationals to fight and other foreign nationals to fight on behalf of Ukraine, and he seems to have switched from being a fervent Trump supporter to then being the harshest critic, the type who would go with a high-powered weapon and set up on the side of the golf course. And so there are questions around the ongoing protection of Donald Trump. This is only 2 months after the assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. The question is, should he be getting the kind of security that Joe Biden has as president? What we heard today from those officials is they've said they're giving him everything they possibly can now.
Our folks are rising to this moment, but it requires all of us to be able to have good conversations and make sure that we're getting the Secret Service where it needs to be. And I'm confident that we will achieve that because we don't have an alternative. Success, we have to have it every day. We cannot have failures. And in order to do that, we're going to have some hard conversations with Congress, and we're going to achieve that.
Donald Trump, for his part, has blamed this escalation of violence against him on the Biden administration. In a quote given to Fox News Digital in an exclusive interview, he said that of Routh, he believed the rhetoric of Biden and Harris and he acted on it. He then continued, their rhetoric is causing me to be shot at when I am the one who is going to save the country, and they are the ones that are destroying the country, both from the inside and out. Joe Biden said today that he again supports Donald Trump being given whatever security he needs to be safe.
I commend the Secret Service for the expert handling of the situation, and the former president is protected from harm and the subject is in custody. Let me just say, there is no, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, those of you who know me, many of you do, no place in political violence for political violence in America. None. Zero. Never.
And Laura, in an interesting development today, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has said that he's doing his own state-level investigation into what's happened.
I understand that the feds are involved, but we do believe that there were multiple violations of state law. We also believe that there's a need to make sure that the truth about all this comes out in a way, that's credible. I mean, I look at the federal government with all due respect to them. Those same agencies that are prosecuting Trump in that jurisdiction are now going to be investigating this. I just think that may not be the best thing for this country. Nevertheless, they have their prerogative, but we have our prerogative.
And Laura, the White House has confirmed that Joe Biden has called and spoken to Donald Trump and offered his support, and that Donald Trump was happy to receive the call.